I'm curious to know what type of data you're able to collect and how this can be best used.
Sure. So we have when you scan a TV, we know where you are, we know who you are because you either sign up with our email and give us your date of birth, or you sign up with Facebook. We know what you're watching now, we know what you watched in the past. That's kind of the initial data we already have. We're working on extracting even more demographics from your location, from what you're watching, etc., etc. The way I see that our data product is, first I want to do whatever Nielsen did or is doing for in-home viewership. I want to do that for out-of-home viewership. I want to supply TV networks and advertisers with data that looks and feels exactly the same, only adds to that 90% of the market that is covered, and let them map the 10%. Now, when you're saying 10% is 10% on average, but there are TV networks that have much more than 10% of viewership from out of home. If you think about ESPN, CNN, NBC, and there are advertisers that are interested much more in the out of home viewers, right? If you think about anything from Budweiser to Pepsi to Starbucks, and even luxury retailers that are in airports, so the first use of the data and the product we're working on now and hope to be ready to market it in the next 3 to 6 months is a pure Nielsen-like viewership data for out of home. Now on top of that, and this is a product that we already know there's a hole in the market. Like, people actually need it. You go to ESPN and they know that they have more cord cutters and cord shavers, and those people they're still not watch 95% of the content live, but they don't watch it at home because as a 21-year-old student, I don't have ESPN at home, so I'll go to a bar, go to a restaurant, and I'll watch it at home. And they know the demographics of these people. So the first product which we're working on now is the viewership data. But on top of that, if you think about it, these are the same consumers, right? If I have specific data and I can see, for example, what content you react to on top of what you're watching, a second screen play, sports, news, everything. What ads you react to when you're in a specific place and when you're watching a specific content of TV. We can add a lot of very, very segmented data on top of that. But again, what we're aiming on now is the data that we know the industry needs. And on top of that, I think as we develop those relationships with networks and advertisers, we'll know what the needs are, and they'll know us and what we're able to provide. So I think on top of that viewership data layer, there's a lot of consumer data layer that we can add.
So I'm curious to know, because it's an opt-in panel, is there a demographic skew?
Yeah, so Nielsen chooses their panel very carefully, based on all the demographics that they look at. The way for us to actually solve that is, we'll have a much larger audience, so we'll be able to pick and choose what our real panel is out of all the people that are using Tunity. And obviously it's not going to be the same demographics as Nielsen has. We're going to choose, for example, the base, and I don't want to get to the kind of like really mathing of that, but we'll have the big the headline is that we'll have more people to choose from, and we'll be able to choose the right demographics. And again, what people will see, and that's one of the reasons we created Tunity. What people will see is that the viewership patterns of out of home differ significantly than the viewership patterns of in home. So and that's if that wasn't true, then we wouldn't have needed Tunity. But then we'll have enough data to choose from. We already do so.
So I'm watching in a doctor's office or an airport, and I'm listening to the audio on my mobile phone, but I'm looking at the screen that's out of home, sitting in a venue. When you approach advertisers, are you talking about overlaying ads over the ads that I'm watching on the screen, and how would that work if so?
Sure. So we don't want to disturb the viewing experience. We're not going to touch the audio, obviously not during the show, and if at later stage we choose to change the audio while commercials are on, we'll only do it as a service to the advertiser. So if Starbucks, for example, knows that it's 7 a.m., you're at the airport, you're watching a Starbucks commercial, and they want to try and personalize the audio that you're hearing, will enable them to do that. But that's not what we're going to do at the beginning, and the idea is to keep the same experience as if you had the remote and you turned on the volume on your TV. What we do want to enable advertisers, and not only advertisers, but also content creators, we do want to enable them to use your phone as a second screen. So if I'm watching a piece on Israel, for example, I want to enable CNN to give me a few more pieces that are, related to that. But I also want to enable their advertisers to try to sell me a package to Israel or a pair of tickets to Israel. That's the way we think about at least the first step of advertising on Unity.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process, about how it all connects to the TV?
Sure. So nothing is really connected to the TV that you're actually watching. What we do is we have our own patented computer vision and deep learning algorithms, and what happens is once the user scans the TV, we take a few frames. We have servers that are watching all the live channels that we support, about 100 channels now, but we're growing it every week. And what we do, we basically compare, to simplify the process. There's a lot of math behind it, but we compare whatever the viewer is watching and what we're seeing on these live channels, and from that we determine the channel and the timing, and that enables us to deliver the synchronized content or the synchronized audio to the user's mobile.
So you're not really relying on ACR.
Right. ACR is based on audio. It's a 2002 technology.
Well, some is video.
The generic name. ACR started as audio. We have our own proprietary algorithms that are all based on computer vision. I think, when we started Unity 2 years ago, I think that's when this type of computing was actually available. I mean, I don't think you couldn't do Unity 4 years ago, and 3 years ago it was way too expensive. Now with all the resources of cloud computing and deep learning, researchers in universities started looking at it about a year and a half ago. So we're really at the forefront of that area. And now it takes us about 4 seconds to detect the channel and start streaming the audio. That wasn't possible 2 years ago. And it's going to take us less than a second, in the next few months. We don't rely on ACR. It's an older technology.